My name's Dan Higgins. I grew up in California around the San Francisco Bay Area, and I grew up playing sports, really was heavy into football and baseball growing up, started playing organized sports when I was 6 years old, all the way through high school, so, about 12 years, longer than I've been dancing. Grew up playing sports, loved it, was originally going to go to college to play football. Ended up enrolling at University of Wyoming originally to play football. My dad went there in the 60s and he played football. And kind of last minute when I got to University of Wyoming, I decided last minute I didn't want to play. I was like, I want to be, have a new perspective on life. I didn't want sports to rule my everyday, and which it would have, working out, going to morning workouts, and then your school during the day, and then practice. It would have been very busy. And then was really kind of missing the physicality. I remember going to football games, watching, just being a spectator and be like, wow, what am I doing? Like, why am I not playing?
Right.
And then 3/4 of the way through that first year, I ended up in just going to a ballet partnering class because my brother was a year older than me and he was in the theater department and they had to take some dance classes. And he said, you're not doing anything on Friday, just come take this class. It's fun, it's easy, it's 1 credit, it's just a good way to spend an hour. And so I did, and I ended up loving it, and it was very physical, and it's kind of what I missed. It gave me back what I had missed from not playing sports, the physicality and the kind of all the ideals that an organized, like all those ideas and teachings and things give you that football provided me and now that dance does.
My name is Justin Bass. I'm born and raised from Cleveland, Ohio. I am a professional dancer with Repertory Dance Theater. This is currently my 5th season with the company. At 10, I was in choir. I was doing other artistic things. I was always in the arts, but I guess around at age 2, I was playing with sports as well. But I was awful at basketball. I was awful at football. I did tennis. I did fencing. I did everything. Yeah, at 10, I think I was just trying everything. So I had no idea I would be a dancer now.
I was born in Guatemala, a little town about 6 hours of Guatemala City. I lived there until I was 11 years old, and I was an immigrant from Guatemala through Mexico to California. And I arrived in California in 1994. When I went into high school, I wasn't really sure what high school was. And so you meet with a counselor and they kind of vaguely tell you what you're going to take, and they wanted to sign up, and my counselor signed me up for basketball training. You played basketball. It was funny. They signed me for a fucking basketball player. And
I've seen him try and shoot hoops in the gymnasiums during our leg dems, and I won't say anymore.
So I had no idea what basketball training was. So I got into it. The first day, I was running the mile, and I threw up. And I stayed through the whole semester, and at the end of it, I think I met a few people that were doing other things. And I stayed all year long, I said in that. But my sophomore year, I was introduced to a second PE teacher that was doing sort of like a gymnastic training session. So I took gymnastics. But it was more like, can you tuck and roll? Can you just kind of go to the floor and get up? And then essentially I ended up in that semester, I remember meeting some friends in theater, and some of them were dancers. And I was like, oh, maybe I should go and take a dance class. So my spring semester, my sophomore year, I did half of the week gymnastics and half of the week dance. And that would alternate depending on the day. And at the end of that semester, the dance faculty asked me to see if I wanted to join a summer program. It's called Arts in the City or something like that. I can't remember. It's Santa Ana. And then I just made the full shift into just taking dance classes from them.
Where are you from?
Originally Toledo, Ohio. Lived there for 14 years and moved to Florida. Lived there for 8 years before I moved out here. My dad's a ballroom dancer, so my first introduction to dance was taking a class with him. And I wish I could tell you like what dance he taught me, but I don't remember. But I grew up doing ballroom. Did that in Ohio, continued it in Florida for a little while into high school, and because I already had kind of that dance in me, like from that point, went to a performing arts high school and tried out ballet and modern for the first time, fell in love with modern, and basically just totally switched what I wanted to do. I did ballroom for a little bit longer, but then ended up not continuing it as I wanted to focus on modern.
Do you remember ever being teased for wanting to dance?
I wasn't teased for it, like I would, like wasn't name called or anything, but like I was telling you earlier, I think the majority of high school assumed I was gay, but it didn't bother me at all, so I didn't really see that as like a negative thing.
What's the biggest misconception people have about men who dance?
That they're in a way feminine, or that they're not strong, or that they only do it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, dance is probably one of the hardest things I've done.
Yeah.
And at my young life, like I'm only 25, and I feel like I've done a lot, and I've seen a lot. And it's probably one of the harder things that I've continued to actively engage in.
What do you think the biggest reservation or hesitation is for men dancing in spaces with other men?
The biggest reservation is that people are, just gonna make fun of you.
Mm-hmm.
That people will not take you serious. That this is not a masculine thing to do. So why do it? The majority of men in America are owning businesses, are working in the office, in the boardroom, or, building and things like that. These awful things that we have got comfortable in, that if you're not running something, then you're not truly the man of anything.
What is masculinity anyway? It is conditional and evolves in relation to shifting historical and cultural circumstances. Dad saying, "You throw like a girl," or mom saying, "Don't cry, be brave," are examples of ways normative masculinity is perpetuated in the home even before a young man steps foot into the outside world. Boys are not born, they are built through backstories that are shaped by culture, social orders, and symbols. Boys are taught to be strong, autonomous, and conceal emotion. Consequently, young men are not as often told that they can be doubtful and vulnerable, have varied reactions to similar situations at any given time. Masculinity is complicated and contradictory. It is not totalizing, but young men are taught that it is concrete and static. Masculinity encompasses a complicated matrix of identities, including class, race, sexuality, geography, and time, all of which play a major role in how masculinity is defined.